You think you are a modern person. You carry a smartphone, live in cities with electric lights, scroll through endless streams of information, and tell yourself that you are free from the primitive fears and beliefs of the past. But the truth is far more unsettling. Beneath the surface, the same ancient psychological patterns that shaped our ancestors are still shaping you today. And the most dangerous part, you don't even notice them. They're woven so deeply into your mind that they feel like your own free choices. We like to imagine that progress has freed us from the primitive mind. We tell ourselves that we've replaced superstition with reason, fear with logic, tribal loyalty with individual freedom. But deep down, the old mind never left. It simply learned to wear modern clothes. The primal instincts that once helped us survive are still pulling the strings. Only now they operate invisibly, driving our desires, our fears, and even our identities. Why do we still crave approval from strangers? Why do we still feel irrational fear of rejection? Why do we feel the need to fit in, even when we say we value independence? These are not the traits of an evolved, rational being. They are the echoes of the tribal mind, the same mind that once knew exile from the group meant certain death. Your ancestors lived in small, tightly knit tribes where every relationship mattered and every opinion could mean survival or ruin. That survival instinct hasn't gone away. It's simply been rebranded as social anxiety, peer pressure, and the constant itch to check your notifications. And it's not just social instincts that control you. The human brain still sees the world through patterns it formed tens of thousands of years ago. Your fear of uncertainty is the same fear that made ancient hunters freeze at the sound of rustling grass. Your need for stories, the way your mind clings to narratives to make sense of chaos, is the same need that birthed myths, gods, and rituals. We no longer tell these stories around a fire. We tell them on streaming platforms, in online communities, and in the quiet conversations we have with ourselves. Consider your habits. Why do you keep repeating the same mistakes? Why do certain emotional triggers make you react before you can think? It's because the old mind doesn't operate on reason. It runs on deeply ingrained survival codes, ancient scripts etched into your nervous system. These scripts are so strong that even when you know they're irrational, they override logic. Think about the times you've gotten angry at someone you love, even though you knew it would hurt the relationship. Or the times you've sabotaged your own goals because the old pattern of fear whispered, "Stay safe. Don't risk it." The modern mind is built on an ancient foundation, and that foundation is stubborn. Neuroscience has shown that most of our decisions are made subconsciously before we're even aware of them. What we call choice is often just the conscious mind justifying something the subconscious decided a moment earlier. And the subconscious, it's not modern at all. It's a time traveler from the Stone Age, carrying the fears, desires, and reflexes of countless generations. This is why even the most advanced societies fall into cycles that look suspiciously like the past. We still create heroes and villains. We still divide into us and them. We still look for leaders to protect us, and we still rally behind symbols, flags, brands, ideologies, in the same way ancient tribes rallied behind totems and war cries. The tools have changed. The instincts have not. The most chilling example of this is how easily mass fear can take hold. In ancient times, fear of predators or rival tribes could spread like wildfire through a group. Today, fear spreads through headlines, social media feeds, and viral outrage. Your brain doesn't distinguish between a lion in the tall grass and a scandal on your phone screen. Both trigger the same fight or flight response, the same adrenaline, the same tunnel vision. We like to believe we've outgrown the primal mind, but when fear takes over, we become exactly what our ancestors were, creatures of instinct, reacting to threats, real or imagined. And here's the trap. The more we try to suppress these instincts without understanding them, the more control they gain over us. We tell ourselves not to be jealous, but jealousy is rooted in ancient survival strategies about competition for mates and resources. We tell ourselves not to worry about what people think, but our nervous system still reacts as if public disapproval could get us cast out of the tribe. These reactions are automatic because they were never designed for conscious control. They were designed to keep you alive. The irony is that the same patterns that keep us trapped are also the patterns that built civilization. Our need for belonging created communities. Our desire for stories created culture. Our drive to defend our group led to cooperation and innovation. But the same drives that built the world are also the ones that cause wars, prejudice, and personal misery. The question isn't whether we can erase these patterns. We can't. The question is whether we can recognize when they're controlling us and choose differently. Yet most people never ask that question. They believe they are in control of their thoughts and actions, while their subconscious runs the same old programs on loop. They keep repeating the same emotional reactions, the same destructive relationships, the same fears, because the patterns feel familiar. And the human brain loves the familiar, even when it's harmful. If you look closely at your own life, you'll see these patterns everywhere. They hide in your relationships, in the way you argue, in the way you comfort yourself, in the choices you regret, but keep making. You might think you've outgrown the fears of your childhood, but many of those fears are simply adult versions of ancient instincts. You fear public speaking not because you'll be harmed, but because your brain treats social embarrassment as a survival threat. You procrastinate not because you're lazy, but because your brain is avoiding the discomfort of uncertainty, just as your ancestors avoided the unknown dark. We live in an age of technology, but our psychology hasn't caught up. It's like putting Stone Age software into a supercomputer. The hardware is powerful, but the code is ancient. And that's why we still fall for the same traps, emotionally, socially, even politically. If you've ever wondered why history repeats itself, the answer isn't just in books. It's in your head. The rise and fall of civilizations, the conflicts, the revolutions, they're all large-scale versions of the same psychological loops running in individuals. We can change the scenery, but the play remains the same. The human mind is still telling the same old story over and over with different costumes and props. And the most dangerous part, the story feels so natural that you don't even realize you're in it. You think you're living your own life, making your own choices, but how much of what you do is yours? How much is simply the echo of ancient patterns, whispering in a language older than words? The ancient patterns are not inherently evil. They are survival mechanisms, forged in fire and fear. But survival is not the same as living. The part of you that hesitates before taking a risk, that seeks the safety of the herd, is the same part that kept your ancestors from wandering too far from the campfire. It's the reason you sometimes self-sabotage without understanding why. Your mind still carries the reflexes of a world where the unknown almost always meant danger. And yet, in the modern world, the unknown is often where growth, opportunity, and transformation live. Consider how these patterns affect your relationships. That primal urge to belong, once necessary for survival, can make you conform to the expectations of others, even when they suffocate you. The ancient mind fears rejection more than death itself, because in the past, rejection was death. Today, it just means someone's opinion no longer aligns with your truth. But your brain doesn't know that. It reacts to an awkward conversation or a disapproving glance as if you've been cast out into the freezing wilderness. This is why so many people stay in toxic environments, jobs, friendships, even families, long after they've stopped serving them. Your ancient wiring tells you better to stay with the herd, even if it hurts, than to be alone in the wild. But that wild you fear might be the freedom you've been craving your entire life. Breaking from the herd in the past could mean death. Now, it might mean finally breathing. Even your ambitions are shaped by these old codes. Think about the endless pursuit of status, wealth, and recognition. To the ancient mind, these weren't vanity projects, they were survival tools. A higher position in the group meant more resources, more protection, and better chances of passing on your genes. In the modern age, these same instincts push people to overwork, to compete relentlessly, to chase external validation at the cost of inner peace. The impulse is ancient, but the battlefield has changed. You're fighting for symbols, not survival. The tricky part is that these patterns operate mostly in the shadows of your awareness. You don't decide to fear change. It happens automatically. You don't consciously choose to imitate those around you. It's hardwired. The ancient brain is like a ghost in the machine, whispering its commands before you even realize there's a choice to be made. And unless you learn to recognize its voice, you will obey it without question. The first step to breaking free is not to fight these patterns head-on, but to witness them. You must become the observer of your mind, seeing when the old instincts rise and naming them for what they are, relics from another time. When you hesitate to speak your truth, you can pause and ask, is this fear mine? Or is it the voice of an ancient ancestor who lived in a world that no longer exists? Awareness creates space. And in that space, you can choose differently. You can decide to take the risk, to walk away from the herd, to redefine what safety means. This isn't about erasing your instincts, they have value, but about updating the operating system of your mind so it serves the life you want now, not the one your ancestors needed to survive. Understand this, the patterns aren't going anywhere on their own. They've been passed down for thousands of years because they worked. But what worked then may be the very thing holding you back now. It's like inheriting a set of tools designed for building shelters in the forest while you're trying to build a life in a city. They're not bad tools. They're just not made for this environment. This is the real challenge of modern life. Your external world has evolved far faster than your internal one. Technology, culture, and society move in leaps, but the brain moves in slow, deliberate steps, carrying its ancient burdens along the way. If you don't consciously adapt, you'll keep responding to 21st century problems with Stone Age solutions. Think about the stress responses you feel in daily life. The rapid heartbeat before a presentation. The surge of adrenaline when you get an unexpected email from your boss. the knot in your stomach when someone doesn't text back right away. These are fight or flight responses meant for predators, not PowerPoint slides. Your body reacts as though you're being chased, when in reality, the danger is only imagined. The problem isn't that the reaction exists, it's that we've stopped questioning whether it's still useful. And here lies the key. Once you see the pattern, you're no longer blindly trapped by it. You can choose to thank the ancient mind for its service, and then act according to your higher reasoning. You can recognize that rejection won't kill you, that uncertainty won't destroy you, that the wild outside your comfort zone is where your real life begins. If you want to truly free yourself, you have to develop a new relationship with discomfort. Instead of avoiding it, lean into it. Each time you face a fear and find out it didn't destroy you, you weaken the grip of the ancient program. Every moment you resist the pull of conformity in favor of authenticity, you write new code into your mind. The truth is, ancient patterns will always be a part of you. They're stitched into your DNA, etched into your nervous system. But they don't have to control you. You can honor them without obeying them. You can acknowledge the wisdom they carry while still choosing a different path. That is the essence of human evolution, not just changing our environment, but learning to master the mind that inhabits it. And perhaps the most powerful thing you can do is to share this awareness with others. Every time you help someone see that their fear, their hesitation, their craving for approval isn't a personal flaw, but an ancient inheritance, you give them the same key you found. You help them step out of a story they didn't even know they were living in. So the question is, how many of your decisions today were truly yours? And how many were made for you thousands of years ago by ancestors you've never met? Think about it. And then, next time that ancient voice tries to hold you back, ask yourself, is this the past speaking or my future calling? If this made you reflect on your own life, share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me about the moments when you noticed these ancient patterns shaping your choices. Remember, awareness is contagious, and your insight might be the spark someone else needs. Your life is too valuable to be lived on autopilot, ruled by a mind built for a world that's long gone. Take the wheel, shape your path. And if you found value here, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more ideas that challenge the way you think. Because the only way to step into the future is to stop living in the past.